In a small Australian town, a family stops during a trip to put gas in their trailer. Peter forces his stepdaughter Bella and his son Samuel to take a walk to stretch their legs. Bella ends up arriving at the town fair and meets Dennis, an artist who sells his drawings. Bella is impressed with his drawings, but a police officer appears and tells Dennis to leave because he doesn't have authorization to have a stall. Elsewhere, Vanessa meets her boyfriend Jackson to tell him she's pregnant. Jackson is super happy and tells his rugby team friends. Suddenly, a very loud noise hurts everyone's ears and Vanessa realizes it's coming from her car's sound system, so she turns it off. At night, the rugby game begins and almost the entire town goes to watch. You can see there's a rivalry between players Jackson and Matt. Peter's family is still around because they can't find Bella, so he tells Samuel and his wife Jenny to wait in the trailer while he searches. After a while, he finds Bella watching the rugby game and argues with her for not staying with the family, but Bella doesn't care. Suddenly, the stadium lights go out, and you can hear explosions in the distance, while colorful lights appear in the sky. The yellow lights approach and are actually alien ships, which begin shooting throughout the entire city. People run in terror, but not everyone manages to escape, and soon people are dying. Bella tries to run but falls to the ground. Luckily, Matt's brother-in-law Marcus sees her and goes to help. They barely manage to move before her father finds her. Then, Marcus is left alone. At this point, the aliens themselves descend to Earth and begin shooting at people, walking while the ships in the sky continue attacking. They also grab some humans and drag them by their hair. Matt's wife, Amelia, sees her mother being taken and wants to help, but it's too dangerous, so Matt pulls her away so she won't be caught by the aliens. Hey, what would you do if aliens descended to Earth? The movie I'm going to summarize is called Occupation. It's a really cool movie that mixes action, drama, fiction, and suspense. I recommend staying until the end because the ending is surprising. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like to receive the best recaps. Some guys try to throw things at the aliens, but normal objects do nothing against their armor, and the aliens continue shooting. The police also try to shoot, with no result. While there are explosions everywhere, Bella and Peter reach their trailer. Bella sees Marcus and his family trying to hide and calls them. While the group runs to hide inside the trailer, Peter is worried because Samuel and Jenny haven't returned yet and almost goes looking for them. But Matt says they need to leave before they die. And right then, a shot hits the trailer's roof, proving he's right. There are cars exploding nearby, and Amelia sees Jackson and Vanessa, so she calls them to get in the trailer while another team player dies. Jackson goes back to see his friend, but it's already too late, and Vanessa pulls him away. When everyone is inside, Peter ignores a bleeding person at the window and drives away. He has to dodge a bunch of explosions, fire, running people, and falling bleachers. But after a while, the trailer leaves the city and goes to the countryside. Soon a ship begins following them, but luckily, the Air Force appears and shoots down the ship. Matt gets out of the trailer to look closer, but doesn't find any bodies, which means the ship was remotely controlled. At this point, they see lights coming and get scared, but it's just a truck with Arnold and Dennis, who knows a place to hide. The cars go together, and Dennis takes them to an abandoned sawmill in the forest. The group settles in to spend the night and agrees to decide what to do in the morning. The next day, the group sees a giant ship floating in the region. A discussion begins about what to do, and during it, everyone discovers that Peter spent 7 years in prison and got out just a month ago. Some guys want to leave, but they agree to stay one more day when Matt says he'll go to the city to see if he can find their families. Dennis and Amelia go with Matt, and they start looking for supplies, hiding quickly when the ship passes. When it leaves, they continue walking and discover that the aliens are gathering all the prisoners they caught. The group follows them and finds all the prisoners behind a fence made of laser that burns whoever touches it. Amelia asks about her mother and discovers she's already been taken to a factory. At this point, the aliens appear, so the group has to run and hides in the tall grass while seeing a huge structure land on top of the city. Back at the house, the mood is getting tense, so Peter shows he has a gun to make everyone be quiet. At this point, the group returns and explains that the aliens are taking humans to their factory like cattle, which shows they came to stay. Suddenly they see a light outside and realize the aliens followed the group when they ran back. Everyone runs to hide while an alien enters and starts searching the house. Peter shoots him from behind, but the bullets don't even scratch the armor. The alien is about to shoot back, so Matt jumps on him and starts fighting after taking his weapon away. But the alien is much stronger. Vanessa grabs the alien's weapon and shoots him, saving Matt just in time. At the same time, another alien sticks his arm through the wall and grabs Dennis, trying to strangle him. Arnold runs and pulls the alien's arm, making the wall and Dennis fall along with the alien. The others come out and hold the alien while trying to hit him, but not even an iron bar is enough. Peter asks them to hold his head, and when the alien's neck is exposed, he shoots there and kills him. Then they put the alien's body in the truck, and Matt tries on his helmet. It seems the helmets detect anything alive, so a human becomes practically invisible if hiding among plants. The guys who know how to shoot teach the rest of the group how to do it, so they can use the weapons from the 2 aliens they killed. Hiding in the forest, the group waits for the aliens to pass and shoots them from a distance, gradually reducing their numbers. The more aliens they kill, the more weapons they get, allowing them to start attacking the containers that carry human prisoners to save them. Many of these survivors also join the fight, and a community grows in the forest where people work together to survive. As time passes, Bella begins to fall in love with Dennis. But the giant ship never leaves the city. One day, the aliens poison the water, so the community has to move to a higher place. When the aliens find their camp, everyone has already left. The war against the aliens doesn't stop, and both sides always lose people in battles, but humans continue resisting thanks to the tactic of hiding among plants. Wanting to scare the aliens, humans begin showing the heads of dead enemies on stakes and hanging bodies from trees. 8 months later, Amelia and Matt are running in a field to escape from some alien ships. Suddenly, they hear a noise and find an injured woman named Chloe pointing a gun at them. They explain they're there to help and calm her down, which helps Chloe tell what happened to her. The aliens experimented on her and half of the prisoners, while the other half is being forced to work planting alien food. Chloe stole a bright device before escaping and gives it to Amelia along with the weapon. At this point, an alien sticks his arm through the bush and grabs Chloe, so the couple has no choice but to run. Another alien jumps and grabs Matt by the neck, but he's not wearing the helmet, so Amelia manages to hit his face and make him let go of Matt. The couple continues running and meets a team that's preparing explosives. Soon, the aliens' outpost explodes, bringing another victory for the humans. Before the group leaves, Amelia notices that the aliens are helping each other get out. Then the group returns to camp and discovers that Jackson's team captured an alien who was brought as a prisoner to get some information. Peter and Amelia argue with Bella and Marcus for risking their lives just to capture an alien, but the teenagers are tired of being treated like children. When Matt says the aliens are experimenting on humans, Peter starts hitting the prisoner so much that the others have to stop him. Soon after, Amelia shows the alien the device she got from Chloe. The alien's finger activates it, and a hologram appears, showing how the aliens have been observing Earth for hundreds of years. Suddenly, Matt turns off the device, and an irritated Amelia runs out of the tent. Meanwhile, Dennis shows Bella that he's burning all his money since it's useless in today's world. Liking his idea, Bella throws her cell phone in the fire too. Then Dennis gives her a portrait he made of her, and the couple ends up looking for a more private place to be intimate. Going back to Matt, he tells the others what he saw in the hologram, and Peter decides it's time to kill the prisoner. Jackson tries to stop him because he still thinks they can use him to get information, but he's just pushed aside, and Peter beats the alien to death out of rage. Sometime later, Matt announces they're going back to the factory to save the remaining prisoners. Jackson goes, even though Vanessa would prefer he stay since the baby will be born soon. At the same time, Amelia leaves the camp alone and finds a farm where the aliens are keeping humans as slaves. She hides carefully and steals a crop before running to the forest, where a bright light blinds her. Back at camp, Peter finds the drawings Dennis made of Bella and threatens him for being interested in his daughter. The conversation stops when Vanessa starts feeling labor pains, so Peter takes her to a tent while Dennis runs to call Jackson. He finds the team and gives the news, making Jackson run back immediately. This shows where they are, and the aliens start shooting at them. A shootout begins, and the human team tries to hide, but several guys are soon wounded, including Matt. Marcus doesn't give up and continues shooting back, trying to buy time. Suddenly, a ship appears at the camp because of the tracker in the dead alien's armor. While fire begins destroying their house and killing people, Peter, Bella, and other adults take Vanessa to the middle of the forest, where she continues screaming while having the baby. A survivor thinks this will attract the alien's attention and grabs a tool to knock out Vanessa. But Peter stops him. The two men start fighting in the mud, and after much struggle, Peter ends up killing the guy. Meanwhile, Bella helps Vanessa have a beautiful girl, whom Vanessa calls Allison, before fainting. Bella sees there's a lot of blood coming from Vanessa, and Peter runs to do CPR, but it's too late and Vanessa dies from bleeding too much. At this point, the Australian army arrives and begins killing the aliens to save both Matt's team and the few survivors left at the camp. In a few minutes, the soldiers take control of the area and the humans are safe. Jackson manages to reach the forest and hugs Vanessa's body while apologizing for not being there with her. Then the army takes the survivors in their trucks. Major Davis explains they heard about a resistance group in the forest, and that's why they came. Apparently, Matt's team is seen as heroes and inspired the soldiers to keep fighting. When they arrive at the base, Matt is still unconscious, so he's left in the infirmary. The others bury all the bodies, and after a moment to mourn, Peter announces he wants to go back to look for Jenny and Samuel. Amelia stops him and promises they'll go to the factory later when they're better prepared. Davis hears this and takes them to see Colonel Grant, who tells them what they know. The aliens have some kind of biological weapon, probably a poison or disease created to end humanity. The information indicates the weapon was taken to Sydney, and the military is planning to attack to get it back, but they need a distraction. Grant asks Amelia's group to go with Davis and attack the factory to be that distraction, which should work since they know the place well. Most of the group agrees to help, but Jackson gives up. After saying goodbye to Matt, Amelia joins Davis and some soldiers along with most of her team. Arnold wants to go but can't because of his broken arm. As the group goes to the small town, they encounter many aliens guarding the roads. They shoot to create smoke for cover and go through the field to hide among the crops. After a while, they find the factory and see all the people being forced to work outside. A woman tries to escape but is killed immediately. Among the workers, Peter sees Samuel and Jenny. Back at the base, Grant receives worrying news. The Air Force is having problems fighting the aliens in Sydney because there are more ships than expected. Another message warns that the aliens are fortifying their bases in the city, which makes Grant realize it was a trap from the beginning. The weapon was never moved. It's still in the city waiting to finish off the resistance. Grant tells everything to Jackson and explains she can't send more soldiers because it would be fighting a lost battle. A desperate Jackson runs to the infirmary and throws water on Matt to tell him about the situation. Matt agrees to help, and before leaving, Jackson asks Arnold to take care of his daughter. After Jackson and Matt leave in a car, the soldiers at the base see red smoke, which means the aliens found them. Soon, a shootout begins when the creatures start advancing, killing anyone who tries to fight. At the same time in the city, Davis's group starts running through the farm, and the aliens shoot at them, so a shootout begins here too. Amelia falls, and for a second has trouble hearing, but seeing the others fighting inspires her to continue. Nearby, Matt hears the explosions and worries about Amelia, but Jackson reminds him the priority is finding the biological weapon. The duo hides to enter the factory and soon kills the alien operating the control panel. While the prisoners panic, another alien shoots at them, so Jackson shoots back while Matt tries to use the computer. He can't understand it, so in the end, he breaks the control panel before guiding the prisoners out. Jackson takes down the alien, then he places explosives throughout the factory. Outside, Davis's team continues fighting the guards, but things start getting difficult when the aliens bring a special cannon. Meanwhile, Matt finds two more aliens and shoots the first one, but he runs out of bullets and has to hit the other one to knock him down. Then he uses Chloe's device on the computer and discovers the aliens left their planet because it became a desert. The biological weapon is right there on the table, and Matt grabs it, but is attacked by the alien who woke up. Matt distracts him by threatening to break the biological weapon and manages to knock him down again. At this point, an English-speaking alien appears with some guards, ordering Matt to drop the weapon. But Matt threatens to break it, so the guards back down. The alien says his people learned from their mistake and won't destroy another planet, which is exactly what humans are doing to Earth. At this point, Jackson starts shooting, and Matt takes the opportunity to escape. At the farm and base, humans are losing, and several people are hurt. Luckily, they manage to call for help, and the Air Force arrives just in time to fight back. Ships are shot down, and aliens on the ground are bombed, gradually bringing back hope for humans to win this fight. Davis takes the chance to attack the alien operating the cannon, but is easily knocked down and thrown to the ground. Even so, this gives the slaves a chance to revolt and join the fight, even without weapons. Confusion takes over the farm, and when the alien gets distracted, Davis grabs the cannon and kills him. Inside the factory, Matt manages to find a place to hide and sees he's bleeding. He uses a radio to talk to Amelia and says he's going to stop the aliens with the explosives, but will die doing it. Amelia cries and they say they love each other before returning to the fight. At this point, the aliens go after it, so Matt shoots at them to distract before throwing the biological weapon to Jackson. Unfortunately, when Jackson jumps, he gets shot. Since Vanessa is already dead, Jackson decides he'll blow everything up, so Matt grabs the biological weapon and starts running again. People continue dying throughout the farm and military base. Inside the factory, Jackson shoots the aliens to buy time for Matt, and finally he detonates the explosives, making the factory collapse in a huge explosion. Seeing this, the aliens surrender, and Peter and Bella can finally find Jenny and Samuel. Amelia and Marcus look at the explosion crying, thinking Matt died. Later at the base, Grant announces that the team in Sydney also won, so humans are starting to recover some lands. At this point, Amelia sees the biological weapon being passed around and discovers Matt is alive. They have an emotional reunion, but also have to tell Arnold and the baby that Jackson died. Matt tells Amelia what he saw on the computer, so Amelia goes to an alien prisoner and cuts the ropes from his hands. Then she offers her hand, saying they should work together. The alien accepts shaking her hand, with hope for a better future for both peoples. Matt, Amelia, and most of their team then leave with the military, ready to continue fighting in other parts of the world. And so, the movie ends. What rating would you give this movie? Your opinion is important for the channel to grow. Don't forget to activate the bell to be notified of new recaps. So until next time,